Hello, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. It's Donna here with Simply Living Wellness, and wanted to come to you today on my regular Friday Live and talk about love. Why not on Valentine's Day? But in particular about self-love. And it's such an important topic. A lot of people out there maybe don't have any plans for today. Maybe you don't have a sweetheart in your life. It can be kind of a depressing day for a lot of folks, and women especially, men as well. And so I wanted to talk about self-love because really the best kind of love that is out there is the love that we give ourselves. But I wanted to talk about what that really means. I've heard this talked about now for many years. People talk, well, you need to love yourself more and give yourself more self-love. And well, I always didn't really understand that because, of course, I love myself, right? I mean, I always would think that when people would say that, I love myself. So, what more is there to do? But then in my journey of self-help and self-growth, I started to really realize what that means. And it can mean a lot of things. And I wanted to share today my top 3 things that it means to me. And the very first one is living in your truth, which means being in integrity. And, I always have thought of myself as a very honest person. And, not that I wouldn't lie or not live authentically. I've always thought of myself as highly integritous and living authentically, but honestly, there were many areas in my life where I really wasn't. And so I wanted to share a couple of those with you. But, it means to me, as an example, if you aren't up for doing something, somebody asks you to do something, and instead of just owning your truth and communicating that to the person, I've been a chronic people pleaser my entire life, and so it's easy just to kind of get wishy-washy, and I know I really don't want to do it, but I don't want to say no, I don't want to hurt their feelings, I want to let them down easy, that kind of thing, and really that's not living authentically. And it's hurting them more by not being truthful than if you were to just tell them the truth. And yeah, it might hurt a little bit if they're being rejected or whatever. But living authentically means just speaking from your heart, speaking authentically, and just being open and honest. So if it's not something you want to do, you can say, look, that just really doesn't align with what I want to do and spend my time on. Or you can say, things like, I'm really focused right now on XYZ, and that's what's important to me. So that's what I'm going to, be focused on. So just be honest. And it's okay to say maybe if you really mean it. Don't be kind of wishy-washy and say maybe. But if you really are not sure, then just say maybe. Let me get back to you on that. It's a very simple answer. Don't feel like you have to give a lot of explanation either. But just sort of be prepared, or at least that's what I do, is kind of be prepared with things that I could say. And that's just one way of living authentically and in your truth. But the second thing that is so important for self-love is self-care. And that's what my blog and my podcast is all about, is living a healthy lifestyle. And healthy means holistic health. So not just, eating healthy, getting enough sleep at night, exercising regularly, having quiet time, whether that's meditation for you or maybe yoga, or just being in stillness. All of those so important when it comes to living healthy and self-care. So I schedule my self-care right into my calendar, whether it's my yoga class or just meditating. My meditation time is in the morning. It's 20 minutes right when I wake up. and I actually have it in my calendar. So it's just that conscious reminder to do it every day. And it's not easy, I'll tell you, because in the morning my mind starts going and I want to start doing, and I'm definitely a highly productive type person. So it's hard for me to slow down, but it's so important. So the second thing is self-care. And then the third thing, which is absolutely very difficult to do, but I think so important, and it means that you love yourself. When you do these things, you are loving yourself. So it just doesn't mean just, saying, oh, I love myself, that it's doing the things on a daily basis that really show that you respect your body and your emotions, and that's what self-love is to me. So the third thing that I do, that I try to do often, is detach from what other people feel, think, say. So going back to that first thing, when you say no to somebody, or you turn them down, or they're going to have their thoughts and their feelings of whether they're mad at you or they feel hurt and so they lash out, or whatever the reaction is. But that is their stuff. Okay, that is their stuff. It's not your stuff. It's not my stuff. It's so hard to do because I'm very empathic. I take on people's energies. I'm learning how to block other people's energies. They don't even have to say anything, and I can feel what they're feeling. And so I take that on, and it's very exhausting. And so it's part of this detaching. So letting them have their feelings, their thoughts, and just detaching from that, because we don't need to own that. We don't need to own their feelings. And as long as we're being truthful and honest and living in authenticity and integrity, then what's theirs is theirs. So there you have it. I would love to hear the things that you do for self-love, for self-care, maybe even talking about any of the specific things like detaching. How do you detach from somebody's reaction to what you do or say? It's so hard, and I'm still working on that, and I always will. But I can't take on all those energies. It's just too much for me, especially the older I get. So hope you've enjoyed this. Happy Valentine's Day. Wishing you much self-love, much self-care, and a beautiful rest of your day. And thank you so much for joining me.